Hey there, card folks. Speedrobo here. So we're back because not 24 hours after I posted my what was hopefully final video covering VTuber TCGs that I'd missed, somebody uh, shared with me the sixth one. Yep, it's real. There's more. There's more that I missed. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, if I have to cover another one of these things, I'm going to backflip off a bridge. But luckily, one of my very good friends said, don't worry, buddy. I got this one for you. And in fact, I want to do it because there's a lot to say. So without further ado, please put your hands together for our guest star in this episode, Jacob of TCGBuzz.
Hello, card folk, not Speed Robo here. Uh, Longtime Speed Robo viewers might be feeling a little weird hearing someone else's voice coming out of this. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jacob. I am the COO of Speed Robo Games, and I am a longtime, now retired YouTuber who has been doing a lot of background work for this channel. And we have something to talk about today. And Speed Robo really wanted to talk about it, but I told him, no, I got this one. You're a workaholic. You've been working 18 plus hours a day. Take a break, my man. I'll cover one for you. So we are continuing the saga of covering VTuber card games. What's so interesting is there are more than anyone initially thought when he did his first video saying, why are there three? Well, we're up to six now, and I hear rumors of maybe a seventh. Now, this one we're going to be talking about today. We're not going to go too hard into it, and I'll explain why in a bit. But this game was not one we were aware of before, and we found it via its Kickstarter campaign, which is over. It has finished, and it did succeed. They succeeded their goal and then some. But we're going to talk about it. Not as much criticism about this game in particular, though there's certainly some of that here, but also as a great guide on how to run a Kickstarter campaign successfully. Now, again, this one did succeed, but I think there are a lot of things they could have done better, and they probably would have seen much greater results had they. I have a lot of experience doing consultation work for Kickstarter campaigns. I'm also the owner of Tabletop Aces, a Discord server for aspiring creators, and I've done a lot of work helping people make sure their Kickstarters are successes there. And of course, I've assisted with the running of the many successful Speed Robo Games Kickstarters. So I do know what I'm talking about, and because I've been so invested in this world of Kickstarter games, uh, anytime I see one doing something wrong, I want to stand up and say something about it, and I hope this video could be that for a lot of people out there who maybe are thinking about someday releasing their own game on Kickstarter. I hope that there's some informative information here. Now, to be clear, I'm not that impressed by this game. In fact, I'd rank it towards the bottom of the VTuber card games, but I'm not specifically trashing on it because, first of all, this seems like a very small team working with very small VTubers in general. And I don't want to be the guy kicking down, you know. No, I want to frame this more as a general example of the do's and don'ts. And there are a couple things I actually really like that they did with their Kickstarter campaign. So this game is called Waifu Wars, made by the company Waifu Wares. They're UK based, and this Kickstarter ran in June, I believe. Fact check me, it is their second Kickstarter for this game specifically. It is their third Kickstarter ever. And they have some interesting choices. So the first thing we want to talk about when we see a Kickstarter is the Kickstarter video. Now, I have been on the record before saying is your Kickstarter trailer isn't as important as some people might think. I've seen a lot of people blow a lot of money on their Kickstarter trailer thinking it's all important. It isn't necessarily. You can survive with just a simple, 2 hours of work in Adobe After Effects video, and you'll do fine. What you shouldn't do is this.
Right, so we finally got some sample cards through for the Waifu Wars TCG. So these ones are going to be the sort of common cards we'll have, and these are the holographic ones. So not all of the designs are final, and some of the effects will probably need to be tinkered with and changing some aspects about the cards as well.
Now, this is actually a good video, but it's not a good trailer. This would be a great video to post in the updates for a channel, but a trailer should be a simple breakdown of what your game is, maybe some flashy visuals, and it should be incredibly short. Like, I'd say a minute is almost too long, and this is approaching, 5.5 minutes. That's too long, and it's very dry. That's a great video as an update, not something I would do as a trailer. But that is the least of the issues I see here. That's like, something I'd recommend if this was my client to work on and maybe present something better, but it's by no means a deal breaker for a game. So this is a VTuber card game. It is a card game that specifically, they say their goal is to target smaller VTubers who might not have a seat at the table with the bigger guys, the bigger publishing companies, the bigger card games that Speedrobo has already spent many time talking about. And you know what? That's admirable. I really like that mission statement. I could see that being very, very compelling, and, if done correctly, could succeed. Now, what you will see as we go throughout this with more examples is, I think the big issue here is a lack of experience. They're trying to do something really cool, but I don't think they've learned the life lessons of game publishing yet. So the first thing we're going to look at is some of the text here. The first thing actually I'll point out is no graphics in the actual Kickstarter, the meat of your Kickstarter. That's a big red flag. Graphics are there to help explain information concisely. People are gravitated towards graphics and images and colors far more than they are text, and it is not that hard to put together even a basic set of graphics for your Kickstarter. And I'm speaking as someone who is not an artist. I barely know how to use Photoshop, and I've done it. But as you can see here, they have most of the necessary information you would need, but it's very worrying how they phrase things. Honestly, the fact that this succeeded in its goal and then some really tells you the demand for VTuber card games more than it shows their own competence, because frankly, in this text, there is a lot of red flags. The biggest one being, and we'll go over some examples, the fact that they clearly did not have even remotely a finished product when they launched their Kickstarter. Now, you might be thinking, isn't that the point of Kickstarter? And my response would be absolutely not. Kickstarter is not a platform you should be putting out a half-finished project to and say, give me money so I can finish this. It is a place where once your game is ready to go, or at least close to ready to go, with maybe 1 or 2 hurdles left, you can say, we can prove that we have a deliverable product. Here's how it's going so far. And it's almost at that finish line. We just need your help to get there. And this game screams the exact opposite. So you're going to see a lot of phrases of, we are aiming for a release. We will release a rule book, and the game will be played, and how the game is played on Kickstarter is ongoing. While the Kickstarter is ongoing, we'll record a video of playing the game so you can see how it's played, and we can tweak the rules or how the game is played if we feel it's not going in the right direction. That is a red flag, as scarlet as they could be. All of that should be done before you launch your game. That is telling people that you are not confident in the product you're shipping. And if you, the creators of this product, are not confident in it, why would anyone else be? The next thing I want to point out are stretch goals. Now, stretch goals are something that many Kickstarters do very wrong. And to give this game credit, I think they did a pretty decent job with their stretch goals. The biggest mistake people make with their stretch goals is setting them way too high. Now, 900 pounds, this is in pounds sterling, is pretty reasonable for a first stretch goal. And as you can see, they go up gradually from there. The point of a stretch goal, mechanically, is to make it so the person who has invested into your game, they've given you their 7 pounds or whatever amount, they say, oh, but if this game had just raised another 200 pounds, $200, whatever you want to use, we're going to be a little screwing in currencies today, then I'd get something extra cool. So I am now incentivized to share the game with my friends and get them to also back it. A thing I see often is a game that says, hey, we're out here, we're a small company, we're setting our game's target at $10,000, and our first stretch goal is $100,000. That's a big no-no. And these guys, I think, nailed it, actually. They did a very good job. I'd probably set them a little bit lower. As with their actual goal here, you'll see that their actual goal was 800 pounds. You can see they did 6 times that. Pretty reasonable, pretty respectable. But again, I think that's more about the demand for VTuber games specifically, and maybe less about their actual competence. But credit where credit is due. I think their stretch goals were very good, and there are clear, tangible prizes for hitting those goals. I like to see that. I like to see the actual incentives. I will say, I don't like this one. At 1,200 pounds, these silver rarity cards. I really don't like the idea of adding additional rarities via stretch goals. But it's a minor inconvenience. A minor, like, ooh, I don't know about that, but it's fine. They have several of these that they hit. Pretty much all of their stretch goals were acquired, which is great, impressive. Good job for you guys. But they stopped them at 3,500. I would absolutely shoot for the moon if you think you're going to do numbers like that, and add a few extra stretch goals towards the end of your campaign. Their risks and challenges area also concerns me. Risks and challenges is a part of Kickstarter that really can show the differences between a first-timer and someone who's experienced in launching and actually shipping games. Because the things that they talk about are very telling. In this case, their major thing they're saying is, we have a supplier in mind, we're very close to having the card art, and if we cannot get the art, or if there are problems with the supplier, there is a delay, it might prevent the launch. If it takes us too long with this, then we may delay until an October launch. That's fine. But again, this is stuff that should be ironed out before a Kickstarter launches. This is the type of thing, especially having a supplier in mind, that's a red flag. You should have a supplier dead to rights, in agreement, sign contract before you're launching, because this is screaming uncertainty. This is screaming, we don't have anything stable yet, but you should trust us with your money anyways. And that's very worrying. They do point out that their card stock is recyclable. They're somewhere else. I think it might be in the FAQ, but we'll find out, where they stress that it's pretty good quality card stock. And I do believe that. I would say it's not the most important thing, especially when we look over here at the side at what the actual prices are, because this gets a little interesting. So you can pledge for a single booster pack, and actually that's another positive to this campaign here. I really like to see that. Specifically, I think a lot of campaigns start with their easiest backing way too high. I've seen plenty of games launch where the minimum I can back this is $100, and that's not going to get you anywhere. But at the same time, while this is a great entry point, the actual price for a single booster pack is insanely high. And keep in mind, the one thing I do not have for this is whether or not there were shipping and tax charges on top of that. I did not back this personally, I did not back this. So I can't say if there were additional shipping charges on top of that. I would imagine there were, but for sake of argument, we will not include those. Even then, a single booster pack, 10 cards per booster pack, 9 commons, 1 uncommon, with a 1 out of 20 chance of a signed holographic card for £7. In Freedom dollars, that's a little over $8 a pack. That's a lot of money for any card game. That's a premium booster pack price for any game out there, let alone one that is not established. This should be half the cost. If it had to be half the cards to get there, that's fine. I'd still be a little cautious about that, but $8 a booster pack is such a high cost of entry to a game. Now, you could make the argument, that has been made for some other games that, the gameplay is not the focus here. It's the collectability, which is fair enough. But, man, even Weischwartz packs aren't $8 a pack. Next, we have a bundle pack of 5 booster packs. You'll notice the price is not discounted whatsoever. Less people did back this versus the single booster pack. That's the power of having a base, gate tier. A nice, simple, cheap option is you'll get quantity, but not necessarily, big numbers from doing so. But 5 booster packs for £35. Again, not a great price, especially since there's no discount over just buying a single one, in a per pack basis. Even if this was, $1 a pound off, that would be a lot better. The next one we have is the single booster box. A booster box contains 12 booster packs. You're getting a slight discount over paying for either the previous one, since 10 booster packs would be £70, and this is 12. But I'm really confused by a detail about this. Like, really confused about a detail about this. So it's stated previously in the previous tiers. 9 common cards, 1 holographic card. If you buy 5, and this one is 9 common cards and 1 holographic card, right? 10 cards per pack, you get 1 shiny thing and 9 regular things, right? But for this, it says, and I don't really get it, is each pack contains 10 cards in the booster box. Each pack is 10 cards, 9 rares, and 1 holographic card. But I don't really understand the difference between 9 rares and 9 commons. Maybe it's just like they're all foil or something, but that immediately is kind of sketchy. If the single booster pack you're buying is not the same booster pack that comes in a booster box, that's worrying. And that might not be the case. It might be they just have a text error here where it says 9 rares and it should say 9 commons. I don't know. Feel free, if you're someone who's worked on this or a fan of this game, to comment and correct. But it is worrying that this isn't explained very well at all. And again, the price is still pretty high for a booster box. I want to be clear, $80 for a booster box is on the higher end of the market, not, the top end of the market, but that's pretty high for an unknown company. Then we have a jumbo booster box. So it contains 24 packs, right? So you get 10 cards, 9 rares, and 1 holographic again. So this is consistent with the previous one. I don't necessarily think it's a mistake then, but I don't have all the info to make that call. And the box guaranteed has 2 signed cards. So you immediately get 2 signed cards. Now, my guess would be these are box toppers. because the seeding of that seems kind of difficult to do with a specific booster box with better print runs. But again, they don't really specify. A couple people did buy that though, which is pretty crazy. And then they had a second version of that, which was more expensive for the exact same thing, but you get to choose the signed card. So I assume that these signed cards are just like box topper additional inserts. Okay. And then it just keeps going. A lot more tiers of the same nature, and it's all you get guaranteed signed cards instead, and you get guaranteed holographic cards. The boxes have 2 signed cards, and you'll receive a signed card of your choice. There's a lot of tiers here that fundamentally don't really change anything other than the ratios of cards you're getting, and that doesn't seem effective to me. One of the big benefits to higher tiers, is giving the people willing to invest a lot of money into your game something unique and special to them, something that makes them feel like they're a part of the game. Whether that be, creating a card based on their likeness, or which many games have done successfully, whether it be giving them something exclusive that they'll only have access to, whether that's a relevant game piece or just like an exclusive holofoil version of something. This game does not do that, and that's a shame, because I think they actually would have seen a lot better numbers for their highest tiers if they had offered some unique items. The next thing we're talking about are the frequently asked questions. Now, this is an area that is often neglected on Kickstarters and is very crucial to show how much you're going to support your product as it is released and later on. If you're not willing to answer questions, and especially put forward those questions that you know people will be asking, it shows that you're not willing to do long-term support of any sort. Now, this game has 3 frequently asked questions here, which is an okay amount, but nothing special, and they're pretty basic questions. You will see that there is a question of which creators are involved, and there's a non-answer, which, fair enough, I guess. If you haven't planned everything out for your game yet, you probably don't have a great answer. But it seems like you've got some people involved already. You could have at least listed them, but for all I know, they're not real people. I'm not saying they aren't real or like fake VTubers or something. I'm just saying I personally don't recognize any of these ones, which, fair enough. I'm not the biggest VTuber fan like in the world. I watch a couple of VTubers regularly, and I know of a decent handful of others from collabs and stuff, but I'm by no means an expert. But it would be nice if they had at least been able to include a couple of names. They're asked about card size. It's their standard card sizes, so that's not really an important question anyone's asking. It's filler, if anything, but it's fine enough. And then the last question is about the size of the physical cards. Now, this is a point that I want to make, is these 2 questions combined with the fact that their trailer video was essentially showing off, look, I have physical cards in hand, really shows me that these are guys who haven't done printing before, and in my opinion, not even necessarily the opinion of the Speedrobo channel, just in my opinion, it shows guys who are proud of getting something printed and think that's something really special, when frankly it's not. It's guys who, get their thing printed and they feel a great sense of pride and accomplishment. I feel a great sense of pride and accomplishment when I hold my printed games in my hand. But the disconnect here is that they think other people feel that same pride and accomplishment that they do, which is not the case. It's never the case. The next thing we're going to look at is updates. You know what? That's a lot of updates. I think their updates are mostly filled with information that is solid, but nothing special. A lot of it is stuff that they should have had finished already before they launched their Kickstarter. That, but it's content. You know what? Good job. You filled out your update queue with some updates. I will note that the last update was pretty recent, which is great. It's them announcing that they're shipping. That's very good. Glad to see that, they're actually delivering to some degree. We'll see how that happens when they've actually shipped the product and it's in people's hands. There are a lot of cases where shipping and shipped are actually two very different things. No matter how big or small you are, logistics issues happen. But that's a good sign. Good job. And I like the continued communication. Now, on the flip side of that exact compliment I just gave, on continued communication, complete failure in the comments area of the Kickstarter. Honestly, the single most important part of a Kickstarter campaign might be the comment section. You, as a creator, should be responding to every single comment you ever receive. This is someone who is engaged with your game, and they have questions. They want to add input of some variety. You should be engaging with every single one of them. And as you will see here, not too much of that going on, with many questions, like the simple question of, has anyone received their backer rewards yet, being left unanswered. That is such a red flag. That is so worrying. And clearly they're working on shipping. Why aren't you telling people that? Even if your answer has to be, hey, I don't have an answer yet, that is such a better answer than ignoring your fans, your clients, the people you literally owe money to. That's unacceptable on every single level. I found their Discord server. I can't join it currently because they want me to have already bought the game to see anything from their Discord server. Because of that, I'm not going to be able to join it and see it further, but it doesn't look like they have a publicly available tabletop simulator mod. I did not see one. Here's their Twitter. I did see this linked as well. No posts since January. The end of January was their last post, and none of their posts feel that consequential. Unfortunately, I don't think they're doing everything they could be doing in a lot of ways. I think it is a case where, they got their Kickstarter, succeeded, good for them, well and above their goal. Good job. Part of that is they set their goal not too unreasonable. That's the first part of making any successful Kickstarter is making a Kickstarter that is feasible in its goals. If they had set an 8,000 pound goal, they wouldn't have made it, but I'm seeing a lot of big issues with communication, and also the big issue of they don't talk about their game much at all. Almost all of, this text is about things we're going to do to get our game published and printed. And that's great and all, but there's no information about the game. There's literally no information about the game. I don't know how it plays. I don't know who's in it. I don't know if it has a color system. We see some different colors kind of here. I don't know if it's like a 5-color mana system. I know nothing about this game. They don't even offer me direct images of these pre-made cards to look at. The only version I'm seeing, the only time I've seen any cards for this game are on the thumbnail here. That's it. And, it looks like it has attack and defense numbers, so maybe it's Yu-Gi-Oh style, kind of like Rift Runners. But the fact that they're not showing that is very worrisome. The fact that they're not showing any details about their game, other than the barest of bare minimums. We have a game. It has some VTubers in it. Here's the card back as an entire update. What are you doing, guys? What are you doing? I think the mission of let's put smaller VTubers in a game and promote it is a good one. And I guess if I were a small-time VTuber, I know several. I'm good friends with several smaller-time VTubers. If they were asked, hey, you want to be in a card game? I think they'd say yes. I'd probably say yes. But you have a responsibility then. If you're being the shepherd for that, then you need to deliver. And not just deliver cards, but deliver a good experience. The good experience that being a trading card game implies. And this game is not doing that. If they want to reach out to us and talk and maybe give us some more context and information for a follow-up, I'd be more than happy to hear it. If you guys liked me taking over for a video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I would love to be able to gloat at Speedrobo and be like, haha, dude, I'm more popular on your channel than you are. It's been like 5 years since I've recorded any sort of video. It's very fun for me. It's kind of nostalgic. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about this game specifically, but also any Kickstarter in general in the comments below. I will answer every single comment. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. You should be answering every single comment. I'm going to answer every single comment we get here, even if it's just an emoji response. But yeah, if you're a game developer and you want some help with your Kickstarter, reach out to Speedrobo Games. You can get a free consultation from Speedrobo or myself. Or you can join our Tabletop Aces Discord server, where there are tons of amazing, talented people offering help and advice out of the goodness of their own heart because they love making games and they love helping other people make games. That's all I have for you guys today, so thanks for joining.
Hey there, card folks, Speedrobo here, and now it is time for my segment of the video. There's a little bit at the end to go over that Jacob specifically left for me to cover. In this, we're going to be taking a look at the Waifu Wars TCG website. He handled the Kickstarter. I'm going to handle the website. So we're going to start off by doing what I always do with these VTuber TCGs, and we're just going to Google them. And you get a Steam game. It's a whole bunch of shooting games. And then down here you do get Waifu Wares. So that's actually not too bad. And I bet if we do TCG, yep, comes up immediately. So actually their SEO, not doing too terrible. So there's a point there. But then we go to the Waifu Wares website. And the first thing we see is something all about Waifu Wars. That's great. You know, you'll love to see that right up top. You click on it, and then this is it. This is all we get to see. They've actually added a couple more products since last I was here, and they're all really weird. And that was kind of going to be the tone of this segment anyway, is that Waifu Wars is genuinely the weirdest TCG I've ever seen. And we're actually going to have their Kickstarter up as sort of a comparison. But the first thing that I want you to notice to really sink in is, you see this logo? It's completely different. And now their logo looks like something from a generic fantasy TCG, and all of their packaging just looks like generic fantasy stuff. I don't like, there's so many layers to this. First off, why is it completely different from everything you displayed in your Kickstarter? Secondly, why this like weird fantasy angle? Third, why don't we get to see any of the cards? That's it. This is all the product images. 4, you're called Waifu Wars. Where are the fucking waifus? How are you the only VTuber TCG that doesn't put the damn VTubers on the fucking box? What are you doing? I don't even know who the hell is in this game. That information's a fucking mystery. And like all we get to see is their awful card back. Like I don't understand. And then they're selling generic ass TCG supplies. Why? What? Huh? Why are you doing that? That's so weird. And then I want to look at this playmat because again, the playmat doesn't make any sense. Like, you know what I love? That this is as big as the picture gets. This is it. This grainy ass JPEG. I like there's so much wrong with this playmat. I don't even feel like breaking it down. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy to really just like dive into this. But like I don't know, I'll rapid fire. First off, they've got 8 different like lines of I guess what's their different elements or color system. There's a color system in this game. How was I supposed to fucking know that? There's no gameplay. But they all blend together and you're using the card backs, the actual card backs to denote your game zones. That's like just don't do that. Please don't do that. Oh my god. It's just, and again, where are the waifus, dude? Where are they? I don't know. You're a VTuber TCG, I think. Maybe? At this point, I'm not even sure. I'm just scared and confused. This game is so confusing. And then, of course, the fucking cherry on top that I have to mention is there's no goddamn starter decks. There's no fucking starter decks. Because why would there be? Why the fuck would there be starter decks? Oh, and you know what I love? You know what I absolutely love? You know what just is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world? $93 for a box of 12 packs. What the fuck is this? 50 bucks for 5 packs. $10 a pack. Because you know what? Fuck you. It's $1 a card. 1 pack, $10. It's $1 a card. Again, just like V Royale, which was one of V Royale's biggest problems. Why? Stop it. I don't know what makes people think that they can just get away with this price tag. I don't get it. It's all so weird. It's so hard for me to even be like mad at Waifu Wars. I'm more just like confused and scared than anything else. This is the weirdest, most confusing TCG I've ever had to look at. Yeah, wow, a surprise. You don't have starter decks, give you a rating of F. Yeah, that's all. I hope you guys had fun, and as I suppose a bit of a teaser for an upcoming video, honestly don't know when I'm gonna have time to get it done, but yes, I am aware there is a 7th VTuber TCG. This is my life now! Hey, I've been Speedrobo, and I'll see you next time.